Today, from First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio, it's Week 18 of the NFL on EA Sports.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League brings us to First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. Today, we're set for a good AFC matchup between the Miami Dolphins and the Cleveland Browns. This one taken just inside the 10. And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return. So here come the Dolphins now as they get set to take over on offense. They will be led out by the 6-foot lefty from Alabama. It's Tua Tagovailoa.
And he's certainly putting together an MVP-type season, leading the league in both passing yards.
Entering settings screen, you have 20 options. Menu narration option is set to office selected.
And touchdown passes. There have not been too many defenses that have been able to stop him or even slow him down. So he's got his sights set on another big game right here.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Here's Tagovailoa to throw. Oh, he's going to take a shot right away. He's got a man complete. And he's in for the score. And his spectacular season continues as he ties the NFL touchdown record.
He is phenomenal.
They're the favorite, no question. And when they score like that on the opening drive to set the tone, you're the underdog on the other bench. That's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, because you can't bring the home crowd into it because you're counting on that to be a part of your equalizer, ride their momentum. But you have to give them something to cheer for. So now what you're worried about is they're better than we are. We can't get going. Are we about to get blown out?
Good news, still a long way to go. You always worry about the plant foot in the snow, but no problems there. And it's now a 7-0 game. Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. And no effort to bring this one out. It's a touchback. Here's the Cleveland offense, and here's Baker Mayfield, former Heisman Trophy winner, ready to go at quarterback.
And the tendency for most of these guys is to want to match things right away because they have a lot of confidence in their talent, too. They just saw a big strike against their team, and you know they're thinking to themselves, I can get this back right now on one play. Well, if it's there, you take it, but otherwise, just go ahead and calm your team down. Run the offense, get things going, and see how things settle in.
Mayfield going to lead the Browns up now, 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. First carry for Nick Chubb. He's going to be dropped following a pickup of 7 past the 30 to the 32.
Defensively here, you're facing a top-5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20, because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored, you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
This defense for the Dolphins, they really played well a week ago in that win over the Jets.
And with the playoffs ahead, this is how you build momentum, because they pitched a shutout last week, and I don't care who you're playing. That's not easy to do at this level, and they're playing their best football at the right time of year.
That is not going to be any help as they dump him behind the line of scrimmage. They were ahead of schedule after the gain of 7 on 1st down, but the defense does not budge on 2nd and 3rd.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage. So on now is the Clemson man, Bradley Pinion, to punt this one away. He only punted twice in the win last week as he gets this one away. And that'll be a return of 12 following a very nice punt. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. So Miami coming out for their second drive. And they, as mentioned, unbeaten to this point in the year. But you think this game, their toughest test yet?
I absolutely do, because to me, this is a good measuring stick game because they've been able to take advantage of the schedule But here, this is another team leading its division with an eye on making a Super Bowl run, so this game is crucial.
Tua now on first down. Throw left side complete. That's Cohen. And he'll be stopped right at midfield.
Someone sharp in this game. I mean, a touchdown pass on the first drive and comes right back, and he's flinging it around really well here.
A really nice throw there to pick up the first down. You kind of just feel a laser focus and confidence about him, and I think we saw that this week, didn't we? Talking to him and the coaches, they felt good about his performance coming up.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that last practice we saw when they went through 2-minute drill, when they went through all the different situations. Ball hardly hit the ground, and I thought, yeah, he might be locked in for this one.
So, Charles, you look at this offense, and really on paper, at least, a great situation for them upcoming. They're unbeaten on the year, an open week coming up after this. So, I guess my question, any worry that maybe this is coming at the wrong time?
Oh, definitely I would be worried about this game, maybe more than any other on the schedule, because I know my guys are looking ahead to that open week. I've got to keep them focused on the task ahead, make sure they take care of business in this one. Otherwise, you're talking...
Got a man, it's caught inside the 10. And he is into the end zone, and the touchdown record is now all his.
There's not much that's perfect in football, but that's about as close to it as you're going to get. Score, force a punt, score again.
And both drives were impressive. The opening drive was, that last one was. Now on the other side, though, what's your psyche? You're really behind the 8 ball.
You got to make sure you just hold in there. Survive the early storm, relax a little bit, and try and get back to your game plan. It's way too early for panic.
And this is no good. Missed the PAT, so they fail to connect, and this remains a 13-0 game. Now he's back out there to boom this one away, maybe with some frustration after the PAT miss. And he'll just sit on this one as their drive will start at the 25. Second drive coming up here for Cleveland as they return to the field on offense. And there, of course, was a lot of talk about this ball game coming into play. 2 division leaders in the AFC. Could this be a potential playoff preview down the line?
Yeah, and I think when you're talking about the talk about this game coming into play, you're talking about me because I blew up your phone all week prior to this one. I was so excited about this game because, to me, it's not out of the realm of possibility that these two teams see each other again down the road. I like this matchup. They match up very well against each other.
They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31. Play fake. Mayfield. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. He's picked off near his own 48, and the return this time will go out to the 42-yard line. So a first interception thrown for him there, and that really not the best decision either.
Not at all, and that's something he did not do in their victory last week. No interceptions in that game, but this defense, they're able to take advantage of an early mistake. Now let's see if they're going to turn it into points.
Throwing now is Tagovailoa. That is caught by Cohen. And they're able to get this one past the 30 down to the 25. Right after the turnover, they come out throwing.
And that means it's a sudden change situation. We used to practice it on defense. Sudden change, get out there, stop the offense. But you typically run out there a little bit unsettled. I think that's why he came right out throwing the football, hoping to catch him off balance.
And he did. Now the former Washington Husky, here's Myles Gaskin. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
The last run got 6, now 2nd and 4.
Nice job there finding room to maneuver, and he worked his way into another first down. And look, they had great field position to start, but boy, they've done a nice job taking advantage of it.
Now they're just hoping to cap it off. From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. The first carry now. This is Williams. And strong running there as he's inside the 10 and down to the 8-yard line. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on 1st down.
I think that's the type of run we'll continue to see throughout this game. The snow coming down, I don't expect a lot of big plays to be broken.
2nd and 5 from the 8. They'll try and run with their fullback. And he will take it in for a Dolphins touchdown. A great play there. His 26th touchdown, drawing even with Marshall Faulk for the 4th most in a single season. And the Dolphins are able to extend that advantage. What a first quarter. Boom, you're up 3 scores just like that, and the offense clicking.
And they're thinking to themselves, we can totally overwhelm this team. Now flip it over. They're going to get the ball back.
Yeah.
Can't panic here. Talk to yourselves one play at a time to try and get back in.
That's cliche, but really that's the message. This is still very early on in the game. We're in the first quarter.
If you look at it as down 20, then you almost have no shot.
Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. And it'll come out to the 25 as he will not attempt to return. Now the Browns offense, they get ready to head back onto the field. And they're in an early hole. The first drive, they threw the interception. That led to a touchdown, so decent-sized deficit early on.
It is, but I think you hit the key words, early on. So they have to decide, do we even need to change game plan? Or do we just need to execute better and try and get back in this game?
Yeah, this will be a gain of 5 as he gets it to the 30. I think defensively you're okay with that. Here in the first quarter, he's going to get some catches, but they rallied to him quickly.
And that's what you count on, and I like what you just said. First quarter, can you do it all game long? They catch it, you tackle them, they go down on the spot. Because when you're able to do that and you don't give up big chunks of yardage after the catch, now you put the offense in a position where every series they have to work hard to pick up first downs, and you tend to stall them out when you do that.
They'll run for it. Here's Chubb. And he's going to have the first down at about the 38. He was solid last week, over 100 yards in their victory on the ground. They want to get that going again.
Absolutely. What they also understand is that from week to week, it's not necessarily the same, but they want it to be, right? What they saw last week on the ground, they want to see in this game as well.
Throw on first down there, but it's incomplete.
Well, he'll definitely say that that's one he should have held on to. But when you're playing in elements like this, sometimes those bullet passes, those ones with a little bit of pace on them, they can be difficult to hold on to.
Throwing again, Mayfield on 2nd and 10. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked up by Javon Holland. And he will bring it back. It's a pick 6 and a Dolphins touchdown. Make it back-to-back weeks now with a pick 6 for him. He had one a week ago.
Talk about being in the groove, and what are the odds of what we're seeing right here? You don't see it happen very often. Listen, if you get a pick 6 in a season, it's been a big year, let alone back-to-back weeks. Tell you this, I wouldn't play cards against this guy in the locker room.
Sanders on for the extra point. Well, these may be an adventure this afternoon, but this one is good. So the defense creating some points, not only getting the interception, but then returning it to the end zone for the pick 6. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6, and now the kick is away. No run back here, down to a knee, and this drive will start at...
Entering settings screen, you have 20 options. Menu narration option is set to auto selector.
Baker Mayfield leads the offense out for their next possession. He's completed 4 passes so far in this game. The issue is 2 of them have been to the guys in the wrong colored jersey.
So I'd say there's a little bit of clouded vision, right? Sometimes he sees clearly, sometimes he doesn't. I know on the sideline they'll be going over things and talk about what the...
And the Dolphins rush gets home. Down he goes. He couldn't get rid of it. He takes a sack for a loss of 6 to bring up second down.
And they're picking up right where they left off with the shutout that they pitched last week. A huge part of that, this pass rush. They know how to get after people.
Offensively, good luck finding some answers right now. Second and 16. And he'll be taken down at the 20 after a gain of just 1. That result, really no surprise. That's what we're coming accustomed to with this #1 ranked rush defense.
And you study the game. Is this bringing back a few memories? Maybe the 85 Bears trying to move the ball against them, 2000 Ravens. Heck, how about the late 60s, early 70s?
And Mayfield again with the interception, his third. Picked off around the 41. Well, when you start thinking of guys that are in the mix for Defensive Player of the Year, I think you use him as Exhibit A. Maybe he's not the leading guy right now, but he's at least on the periphery and deserves to be in the discussion.
And because of that, he's looking at a game today where in order to make that big move and maybe become the guy, he needs multiple takeaways, multiple big plays, things that get our attention and reverberate for weeks to come.
60 red. 60 red. Here we go. Mike 28. Mike 28. Let's pick it up. It's our time, guys.
Tua going to throw. Reception here by Ruggs. And give him 6 yards here as he stopped near the 35 at the 34. Late in the season now, MVP chatter starts, and he might be on the fringe. This is always an award that goes quarterback, running back, usually quarterback. A lot of bias. Does he deserve consideration?
He more than deserves consideration because the way the game is played in the NFL now, it's a pass-first league, right? So that means that people are going to adjust their defenses for him each and every week, and he's still putting up big-time numbers. I know the quarterbacks and running backs get it, but he should be firmly in the race for MVP.
And he's going to get this down near the 20-yard line.
Usually we see runs like this as the defense breaks down later in the game, but this guy is setting the tone early, running through all types of tackles and put the defense back on its heels.
First down, Singleton, and he'll take this ahead for about 4. Second down coming up.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6. They'll run it here. This is their fullback getting the carry. It'll only be a gain of a yard, and it sets up a 3rd down and 4 now. This defense against the run, by the way, they're not top 5, but they are top 10.
So what's your philosophy here? Do you try and run the ball against a team that's pretty good against the run? What if you're a pretty good running team? If so, you might want to go ahead and run it anyway because that's your strength.
And he will have the first down inside the 10 to the 9-yard line.
Just about every coach we talk to says the crowd shouldn't affect us. That shouldn't be an issue. And in the next breath, they talk about taking the crowd and taking them out of the game by picking up first downs and keeping them at bay. I think we just saw an example of that there, didn't we?
Important to do, especially early in the game like they have. This defense porous so far in this first quarter. They face another 1st and goal. And he will maneuver his way down to about the 7. Give him 2 yards on that one. 2nd and goal now.
Not a lot of headway on that carry, but when you're dealing with a defensive line that can cover up your center, sometimes you got to think about getting out of that play. Not going to be a lot of space when that happens.
Going to give this time to the tailback. And he'll take this into the end zone for a Dolphins touchdown. Myles Gaskin, his 9th touchdown of the season. And the Dolphins just continue to pour it on. When you talk about a battle being won in the trenches, that touchdown right there, a lot of credit to the offensive linemen.
Yeah, when you watch them surge across the front, they really created great space for the runner to get in.
And now a 2-point conversion attempt forthcoming.
Double time. 4 down. Check. 4 down. Hey, alert 3.
They'll give it to the fullback up the middle. And he gets halfway there, down to the 1-yard line.
An unsuccessful attempt at the 2-point conversion. And it was a triple option play. And they chose option 1, handing it to the fullback. And that's not normal.
And sometimes you just miss your read key, right?
Yeah, I think so. And sometimes they actually call that, thinking that maybe everyone would bypass the fullback going down to the tailback or the quarterback. But in this case, they overwhelmed them and stopped it.
Heading out as the Cleveland offense now as they get set to take over here. They find themselves in a good-sized hole here, and a good-sized hole early on in this game as they come up on 1st down. Try to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26.
Well, he did a nice job keeping his eyes downfield, waiting for someone to get open. But once the pressure forced his eyes down to see the rush, it was time to make a break for it.
On to the 2nd from Cleveland. It's the Browns in control of the football as they're looking at a 2nd down and 9 to go. Throwing, Mayfield. Got a man, it's Patterson, complete. And up to the 35 before they're able to knock him down. It's been a very one-sided game so far. They got to change what they're doing right now, don't they? You can't wait till the halftime speech to make an adjustment.
No, you can't, because if you're doing it right, you're adjusting from series to series, and they need a big adjustment here to try and put some points on the board.
They'll run on 1st down. It's Hamilton. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
Oh, that's a real nice job there by the defense in front. They just engaged and held their ground. But how about the guy who made the play? We often talk about whether they take a good first step or not. Many times you just don't take any step. Just get your feet moving, get your body going, and then once he made the read, he was able to make the play.
Looking for a crease, can't find one. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. 2 runs in a row, but only 2 yards to show for it. The Browns on 3rd down, just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 8. Mayfield to throw it. Oh, this will be incomplete. The rush gets home just as he was letting that go. That could have been worse. Instead, it's 4th down.
How about this defense? They came up with a couple of big plays in this sequence, and none better than the one right there, forcing the incompletion and bringing up 4th down.
The punt team on now as Pinion sends this one away. This is taken at the 15. A very good return that time. 18 yards. The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. And thus far, the weather has not slowed this offense down one bit. They've looked good so far in the first half.
They certainly have. And think back to our meeting with the head coach, and we asked him because...
And that is going to be pulled in one-handed. Wow. A big play there for the Dolphins.
Already over 1,000 yards receiving this season. That catch is just going to add to his total. Certainly not resting on his laurels. He's trying to continue to gain as many yards as possible and continue this big season.
So now then, the big play has him all the way inside the 30 now, 1st and 10.
I can't believe they let you play. I can't believe they even let you play.
Going to the air, Tagovailoa. He finds his man, complete. It's Cohen. And they do get him down, but not before he's able to slip it inside the 5-yard line.
Boy, how about the speed with which this offense can get down the field? It's taken them no time at all to get down here, and now they're set up with a 1st and goal.
Check his Mike. Let's go. Watch the edge. Check safety.
Gaskin. And he takes it into the end zone for the Dolphin touchdown. Myles Gaskin, his 10th touchdown of the season, 2nd of the game. And the Dolphins are able to add on to their first half lead.
Okay, we need to double check here with Marvin because he keeps all of our good stats, but what I've got is 5 drives, 5 touchdowns, and they've got a nice healthy lead.
Well, after the first drive, we thought things might be clicking. They're really clicking at this point. They're clicking about as much as they can click.
And right
I just
now,
said click a lot.
Yes, you did, but that's okay because the guy who's coordinating the defense, trying to slow them down,
Good luck.
he's going to have hair that looks like mine very soon. Not much of it.
They'll give it to the fullback up the middle. And he gets halfway there down to the 1-yard line. So now... Fancy there. That was just a fullback dive. Defensively, they were ready for it.
They were, and I think that surprised the guys on offense because handing it to the fullback, well, you don't do that very often, so that's a tendency breaker. And I think they just wanted to say, let's just go straight ahead. As you said, nothing fancy. Everyone move someone out of the way and let the big guy work. Didn't get it done, though.
Ready to take over again on offense. Out comes Cleveland. It hasn't gone particularly well for them. That's obvious. In these conditions, no points so far. They've got to get that offense on track. The question, how do they do it?
It is the age-old question, isn't it? And to me,
the Dolphins get there this time, and they bring him down. It'll be a loss of 7 on the sack, and it brings up 2nd. This offense continues to shoot themselves in the foot. Here, another sack.
all game long, we've seen missed assignments, which have led to turnovers, sacks. This group has not played well at all here in the first half.
Mike, 55. Check.
After the sack on first down, Mayfield. That catch good for 5. It's third down.
They gave up the completion there, but this is what zone defenses count on. Catching the ball and not much run after the catch.
The Browns on third down. They've only converted once in 4 tries. This is third down and 12. From the gun, Mayfield. And the throw there going to be incomplete.
As a defensive back, you have some weapons at your disposal that we don't often talk about. And you can read the receiver's eyes, you can read his hands, and you know that the arrival of the ball is imminent. And that allows you to make a play on it and oftentimes knock it away.
It'll be a net of only 30 here. 40-yard punt, 10 on the return. Miami set to take over. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and cap.
And this is taken in at the 5. And oh, so close as he takes it all the way to the 2-yard line. It's a big play there for Miami. Typically with catches like that, we talk about the height of the wide receiver, but he's one of the shorter receivers in the NFL.
And it doesn't seem to matter, does it? Put the tape measure away. How about some of these guys under 6 feet tall? Antonio Brown, T.Y. Hilton, and Super Bowl 53 MVP, Julian Edelman.
Well, that didn't take long. One play, and we're already looking at a 1st and goal situation.
My game. Let's go, D. Big Sears right here. So we got to step.
They'll try to run this one in, and he will take it in for a Dolphins touchdown. taking it in from 2 yards out. And the Dolphins are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. So the big play to kick off the drive set them up first and goal, and they're able to cash in right away on play number 2.
I think I'm starting to understand more and more when we get ready to do games and we meet with coaches why they talk about big plays, explosive plays, and how it sets them up for success, because that's exactly how they're able to score on this one. We saw the touchdown. We saw the payoff. But, of course, that big, long chunk play is what got them in position.
Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. Taken in at the 3. And up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. And this not an easy situation. You're down early, in the elements, you're on the road. How do you get the mojo back?
Well, one thing is to remember that as an offensive player, you have a much better idea of what you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go than the defender. So in this case, because you know it, you can make your cuts with a little more decisiveness, maybe a second fake, some double moves, things of that nature, to go ahead and try and put some pressure on the defense.
Throwing on 2nd and 3. Mayfield. Pressure comes and down goes Baker Mayfield. It'll go in the books as a 7-yard loss on the sack, and it's 3rd down. These sacks now, they're starting to pile up, Charles, and that front 7 defensively, they've had their way with this offensive line.
And I think at this stage, we have to start thinking about different play calls. We've got to start helping this quarterback out because the entire game he's been under siege. I don't care what the down and distance, they've got to get the ball out of his hands a lot quicker.
On 3rd down, Mayfield. He's got Njoku over the middle. And he's going to get this to the 31, but that is still well short of what he needed. Just a 5-yard pickup, and it leads to 4th down. Here's Bradley Pinion now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. Taken in at the 22. A terrific return. 30 yards all in all. And the Dolphins will begin this drive in great field position, 1st and 10. Tua and the rest of the Dolphin offense heading back out. And he's been good. 2 first-half touchdown passes, no interceptions so far.
Does a lot for your confidence, does a great deal for your team, gives them a lead, and they're feeling really good about how they're playing. I think he expects to throw at least another one.
I was going to say, now he wants the first-half hat trick, doesn't he?
Oh, without a doubt. Go ahead and fling him on the field, folks. He wants that type of celebration.
And his throw is incomplete.
We know it's not an easy job to go out and catch passes when people are trying to tackle you and knock the ball away. But the bottom line is, that's a pass he's got to have and a pass he should have caught.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. Now Tua. Looking deep downfield. And this is caught inside the 5. And all the way in for a Miami touchdown. Jalen Waddle standing alone with a new NFL record 32nd touchdown. And the Dolphins have got it on cruise control. It's been quite the game for him individually. A trio of touchdown catches now.
So pick a route, any route. Whatever you want him to run, he's going to do it and do it well and end up in the end zone. This has really been fun to watch.
Extra point up and good by Sanders. And the route is on here in this first half. Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. Fielded just outside the goal line. And he will make it to the 20-yard line and no further. The offense trots back out there. Let's turn our focus now to Nick Chubb. They haven't been able to get him on track. They haven't been able to get this offense on track. No points so far.
Maybe it's time to start doing a few different things. Throwing the ball a little bit, maybe featuring other people touching it for a while, and then you've got a chance to come back to it when things have changed a little bit. They have to make an adjustment.
Well, still time for him here as we sit in the second quarter. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4. And he'll give it here to his running back. And he's going to lose yardage and be backed up to the 25. Call that a loss of a yard, and things get a little more difficult here, 3rd and 5.
With his size, he's a tough man to bring down, but they do a nice job there stopping his progress and not allowing him to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Like that, just like that. Back 55, back 55.
Mayfield down. And he'll complete this one to Patterson. And he's able to get it to the 33. Good enough for a 1st down.
Another catch for him there on this drive, Brandon. And it looks like they're going to utilize him out of the backfield any way they can. And that time they pick up a 1st down. So now on defense, do you assign a man to him and try and cover him before he gets going?
A 1st down throw for Mayfield. Got a man. It's Diaby Brown, complete. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down.
Now that's the kind of big play you'd like to see. This first half, it hasn't gone their way, and they could use a shot in the arm, something to perk them up a bit. And they get one here in the passing game.
On 1st and 10, Mayfield. This will be caught once again by Brown. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
And good penetration here. He'll get this down only to about the 49-yard line. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. Oh, he stays up. But now he's swallowed up and taken down. And now that brings up 4th down there, a loss of 6 yards on the sack. So that now 4 first-half sacks. This pass rush has been unrelenting.
And partner, you hear that sound of paper being ripped to shreds? That's the game plan that they've had so far, because they've got to say to themselves right now, we have to do something differently.
And great special teams work here. This is knocking on the door of the 5. They'll spot it at the 6-yard line.
I absolutely love the flexibility of these punters. Their leg drive, able to get it way up in the air, and that allows their punt team to get down there and down it inside the 10 because they've had some time.
The Dolphins at the line, ready for their next drive. And now consider the lead. The question is, how much is good enough? Are you going for more?
It's the NFL. There's never enough, I believe, because they get reeled in all the time when you sit on the ball. I think that they will try and move the ball downfield and try and squeeze a few more points out of this first half. They'll be careful. They'll be a little bit cautious at times, but also they will attack downfield and try and get in position for at least 3 points.
Now a handoff here to his running back. Bulldozes past him. And he's taken down, but not before he gets this across the 25-yard line. Now the Dolphins going to burn the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. On 1st down, Tagovailoa. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Denzel Ward, and they'll set up shop. Right near midfield at the 49-yard line. throwing the interception, Mayfield. And he's got the hook up to Landry. Now the Browns will use the first of their 3 timeouts as the clock will stop with 33 seconds to go in the first half. Throwing again on second down. Mayfield. And that one will fall incomplete. Clock here now just under 30 seconds to go in this first half. And they'll need the 39 here for a first. This is third down. From the shotgun, it's Mayfield. Sideline throw, it's complete. And a nice job there of keeping the toes inbounds. The completion good for only 6, and that'll bring up 4th. Here's Bradley Pinion now, as they're forced to kick for the 6th time today. And problems spreading to the punt team now. This one goes all the way into the end zone on the fly, so that'll come back to the 20. The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. And with a huge lead already, they may be thinking, hey, our job's complete for these first 2 quarters. Let's get this to the locker room. Try to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. He's going to air one out. Well, this is taken in. It's complete. And all the way in for a Miami touchdown. Jalen Waddle in the final seconds of the first half. And the Dolphins will extend their lead here just before halftime. One play, 80 yards. Pretty easy drive to recap.
It certainly is, but not so easy to execute. Starting on your own 20, you want something to kickstart your drive and get it off to a nice start. They went for the whole thing and got it. That's a great way to send a message to the opposing team.
Extra point up and good by Sanders. And a rout is on here in this first half. So just 8 ticks remaining here in the first half as they'll kick this one away. Taken in at the 3. And makes it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. And no reason to do anything foolish as they'll snap it one more time on first down. And with time running short here, they'll simply take a knee, and that should do it for half number 1. So we've reached halftime here, and it's the visiting Dolphins taking a lead to the locker room. As we'll send you down to Orlando, we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. We'll get back to you and Charles in a minute. But first, time to give the folks at home a look at what's going on around the NFL. We'll start up in the Steel City, Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. And it is the Jets who have the lead in the second quarter. Elijah Moore, a touchdown reception. From there, we move to H-Town to check on the Texans at home at NRG Stadium. And you can see they have the lead over the visiting Tennessee Titans. Devontae Adams, a touchdown reception. Lastly, let's get up to Buffalo to check on the Bills. And they currently trail in that game against the visiting Patriots. The Patriots locked in a tight one, but this is a game you feel they've got to have. Meanwhile, in our game, it's been a back-and-forth first half. Who can put it together in the second half? For the answer, we turn it back over to our broadcast team of Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. The lake effect snow set to continue for the second half of action as we are back underway. Taken in at the 3. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23. There's Baker Mayfield as he and the Browns offense comes back out. And that first half was nothing short of a disaster. 0 points on the scoreboard and a big 3 in the INT column.
So they've got to get him going, obviously, right? So you've got to get him in rhythm. And we always think of short passes. I think of jet sweeps where they just kind of toss the ball forward. You know, that counts as a forward pass. And then you can say to them, look at that. You completed 3, 4, 5 in a row. Now you got to get your confidence going.
Let's go. 29 is the money.
From the 25 on second down, Mayfield. And from the 25, they work this to the 29, a gain of 4.
Well, they're unable to convert that into much, but it's never a bad idea to try to get the ball into a tight end of his caliber's hands and see what kind of disruption he can cause.
That'll be caught by Rodgers. And he will be very close to a first down, but I see the closed fist of the referee, and that means 4th down. They'll give him 4 yards there, and it'll be 4th down. Here's Bradley Pinion now as he's on to punt for Cleveland. This will be fielded at the 17. So a good punt there, but a very strong 14-yard return. And out will come the offense as they take over. Myles Gaskin and the rest of the Dolphin offense ready to get back to work here. And he's found the end zone twice, and now the Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. And they will simply, Charles, be looking to duplicate what they did last drive when they were able to push it in for 6.
And they hope it'll be that easy, right? To be able to take exactly what happened before, replicate it. They may have to make a few additional changes along the way because I'm sure the defense will make some adjustments, but they've got to have great confidence having scored the last time out.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. They run the counter. Singleton. And he gets this one to midfield before he's brought down. 41 yards rushing for him now on just 6 carries to this point. They went counter there offensively, and a couple of defenders were on skates for a second.
They certainly were, and you know what offensive linemen love about the counters and the misdirections? Sometimes you don't even have to block the defender. He can run himself out of the play if he doesn't read his keys properly.
Let's go, dude. Tighten up. Mike, hey.
And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40.
I know a lot of times we like to put players in certain boxes. He does this and he does that. But this guy, he can do a little bit of everything. He's not just a lead blocker or a guy who protects the passer. Handing the ball, he might want to get out of the way.
So 1st and 10, and if they score on this drive, might have to start digging in our second half blowout material. A handoff as they run the counter play. And he sneaks his way forward only for a couple here. 2nd down.
Vision is so important for the man in the middle because his ability to look through all the clutter that's happening in front of him, diagnose a play, and then go make it and finish it, that's when the great ones know that they have the goods.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8.
Watch time, watch time. Tight end right, tight end right. We got 4. We got 4.
And to give this time to the tailback. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. When he runs, he seems to do a nice job of knowing when to be patient and find the hole, and then when the hole is there, he goes quickly.
You're exactly right. He knows how to just take off, but you know what else? Brings a little thump with him, doesn't he?
He does.
He packs the boom at the end of the run and finishes it going forward. That's what you want to see out of your backs.
runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10. They'll hand it off now. Williams. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9.
Partner, if you want more carries, I think we saw how you get them. Showed that he's got the fresh legs, and he picked up the first down on that run. Don't just ask for them. Show them that you're supposed to get the football.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. 65 yards rushing for him now to this point.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense gets a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. Good yardage on 1st down. Now can they punch it in on 2nd and goal? And they'll turn to the power game to try to get in. And he'll take this into the end zone for a Dolphins touchdown. A great effort there. With touchdown number 27, that ties Priest Holmes for the 3rd most in a single year. And the Dolphins just continue to pour it on. So now the Dolphin offense will stay out there as they'll go for 2. They'll give it to the fullback up the middle. And he will bowl his way in there for the 2 points.
I think this is just going to be a function of the times we live in now. Very similar to the bat flip in baseball. Everyone's got to start to get comfortable with this. But to me, this is just rubbing it in. You got a big lead. Go ahead and take the extra point. One thing to keep in mind, though, karma's still out there, and sometimes it has a way of catching up with you.
Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. This will be fielded inside the 5. And he'll go down as this drive will start at the 25-yard line. And the football going back over now to the Cleveland Browns. They have been struggling. I would imagine at halftime they went through some possible changes. Well, those changes aren't working, so now where do you go?
I think that now it's much more in their head. And what I mean by that is just what you said. You've gone over the changes. I bet they were pretty clinical at the half, not too emotional. They might need to go to the emotional side because you've got to find something, some spark somewhere. And so far, just being calm hasn't exactly worked.
They need any spark at this point.
And as a quarterback, you're always pleased when you can use all the weapons at your disposal. Here he spots his fullback underneath, gets the completion right there for a nice pickup.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. They'll run. It's Rodgers. And he will not get there as they stop him short right around the 34-yard line. Just a 2-yard pickup, and that should necessitate a call for the punt team here on 4th down. Here's Bradley Pinion now as he's on to punt for Cleveland. And he fields it cleanly. So this will be accepted as it moves the offense backwards. So the special teams penalty cost some yardage there as they come out on 1st and 10. On the handoff, it's Gaskin. And he'll maneuver his way forward for about 4. 2nd and 6.
Well, on every play call, you realize it's not going to go for a touchdown. So a lot of your calls are setting things up for maybe later in the game, trying to establish the inside run with toughness now, hopefully get to the perimeter later. And let's face it, You could do worse than a 4-yard run on first down.
Now a second down and 6.
Double tight, guys, double tight. Everyone go forward, pull down. My game, my game. Tackles, tackles.
They run the counter. Singleton. And he goes across the 20 to the 22. It's a 5-yard gain, but they'll still be a yard short here with third down now looming.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
You better be afraid of me. You better be afraid of me. My game, my game. It's a party.
And they'll let their fullback try and push the pile. And he's going to get to the 31, enough for the first down.
On 3rd and 1, it seems natural to just turn and hand it to the biggest guy you have in the backfield. But usually, he's not the primary runner. So for the defense, they're often keying on the running back because he's the guy who gets the ball more often, and the fullback is the blocker. When he ends up carrying the football, that's a heck of a tendency breaker, and now you're just trying to jump on his back and hold on.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10.
My game, my game. You remember me? You remember me? Let's go, baby.
Now a handoff. Here's Williams. Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8.
Well, any lane that might have been open there was closed pretty quickly, and that was because the defensive front, they won that battle at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. They used great leverage, held their spot, and stacked him up.
Here we go, set. Yellow, 43. Set the tone, defense. Yellow, Lonnie. Check 15.
On 2nd down, Singleton. And he'll get this up to about the 40. 76 yards for him on the ground now, as he has been terrific here this afternoon. And that looked like some pretty easy yardage there right up the gut.
And he's a guy that has some height to him, so when you don't have to drop a shoulder or create or get through contact or trash, makes it a lot easier to stay upright, see the field, and make a run, as we just saw there.
Ready, black, 95, opposite, green. Watch the screen. Whip, 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 whip. Watch the whip. He's coming. Double up.
On the give, this is their fullback. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. And that is going to do it for this 3rd quarter of action. You're watching the NFL. On EA Sports. So a 1st and 10 upcoming from Browns territory now at the 49-yard line. And he'll give it here to his running back. And he's got this down to the 35. No doubt those are the types of carries they're looking for here, Charles. The lead in the fourth quarter. This is when coaches that have a reliable running game, they breathe a little easier on the sideline.
Yeah, they love the idea that they can take the air out of the football at this point of the game. That means they're really counting on that offensive line, counting on the runners, taking care of the football. Because you're going to tell your quarterback, hey, no time to be a hero. We're not going to throw it here. Just eat up that clock. And if you have the ball, they can't score.
Tighten up, tighten up, tighten up.
They'll run now with Gaskin. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4. They've gone to their fullback quite a bit. He'll get it again. Just a yard in the pickup there, and it'll leave them with a 3rd and 3.
All right, let's put the check mark on the defensive side of the ledger there. Really nice tackle by the man in the middle. But why was he able to get that done? Because he has 4 down linemen in front of him, 2 tackles, 2 ends. And what they often try to do is create what we call a funnel. Right to the man in the middle linebacker, who often leads his team in tackles.
So 2 of 2 on 3rd down conversions on this drive, and now they face a 3rd and 3 here. Now a handoff here to his running back. And taking it to the 15-yard line before he's brought down. At carries like that, that's how they're going to continue to salt this thing away here, Charles, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, how about that? A new set of downs. Clock continues to move. No better way to close out a game than to tap those mastodons you have up front and say, guys, keep pounding them. Let's keep the ball, keep their offense on the sidelines, and let's close this one out.
Line of scrimmage, the 15. It's 1st and 10.
My game. Let's go, team. It's going to be a long day offense. It's going to be a
Here's Gaskin. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11. Call it a gain of 4 on 1st, and that'll make it 2nd down.
On any running play that's called, they're always hoping that it's going to break big and go the distance. But when you get a nice gain like that, you're able to do so many things anyway. You can come back and run essentially the same play again, continue to move the ball on the ground, or you can decide to throw the ball now because usually you have the defense back on its heels.
4 down, check, 4 down. 36.
And he'll be brought down this time at the 5-yard line. It's a 6-yard run, leaves him with about a foot or so here still to go to hit the marker with 3rd down coming up.
And that's why that position was created. Big, powerful, strong guy who can carry the ball and plow forward. That's exactly why you have him on the field.
The offense on 3rd down tonight, a perfect 4 for 4 thus far. They're looking at 3rd and the nose of the football.
Check.
Gonna give this time to the tailback. And he is in. Touchdown, Miami. A great play there. His 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Dolphins look poised to reach 17-0 as they add on to their lead. Well, they were looking to pick up the 1st down on 3rd and short. They got a little more than they bargained for, finding the end zone as well.
And oftentimes in short yardage situations, you get a lot of defenders stacked near the line of scrimmage partners. So if you can get past that first wave, there's usually room to roam, and he found it.
Extra point up and good by Sanders, and that will extend this big lead. Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. And this will not be returned. It's a touchback, and they'll begin at the 25. Defensively, you said coming in earlier in the broadcast, the magic number was 20 points for you. That's what you thought they would have to hold this offense to, or less than that. And, wow, they've done that in a big way, haven't they?
And not only have they done it, They put themselves in a great position to win this one because holding them down was paramount. If they could get it done, well, guess what? We see the end.
And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. Christian Wilkins. He's the one that got home and takes him down for a loss of 9. It has been a rough afternoon for him trying to get rid of the football. See, that's now 5 sacks.
How'd you like to be the offensive coordinator, the offensive line coach trying to come up with an answer for this pass rush? What blocking assignments do you change? Can guys play a little bit better? And we're seeing the end result on the scoreboard. Long day in the pocket for their quarterback.
And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked off at the 24. And they have the football and will take over at the 24-yard line. Yet another mistake after the interception there. And, gosh, you look up at the scoreboard, they just got to be thinking this one cannot get over fast enough.
It certainly can't. And also what happens when you get this big of a deficit, you're supposed to make all the right throws, right? You're supposed to try and obviously get the ball to your own guys. But being down this big, you also take even more chances. And in this situation, that hasn't paid off for them at all.
On the other sideline, jubilation and laughter. And down inside the 15 he goes. 119 yards rushing for him so far as his terrific season continues here.
Well, that's a carry they have to be satisfied with. And throughout this game, they've been satisfied with what he's given them. Whenever they've needed a big run, a first down, he's the guy they've turned to. And it doesn't matter what the defense thinks. They feel like they've got the confidence to keep handing it to him and keep picking up good yardage.
From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. And he tries to power forward, but he will not get back to the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
After a play like that, there should be congratulations all the way around, I think, because if you can stop a big fullback like that, that's not easily done.
Yeah, he does not go down easily. You're right, but he did there. 2nd and 11. And he'll give it here to his running back. And he's going to get about 4 down inside the 10 to the 9.
Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
The Dolphins on 3rd down. No problems to this point. A perfect 5 for 5. This is 3rd and 7. This is Gaskin on the carry. And they'll get him down about 3 yards short of the first. 3 yards won't be enough here as that'll bring up 4th down. He's hit pay dirt a lot this year, but not that time.
Yeah, I'm tracking right there with you. You're exactly right. He's found the end zone plenty of times. No way I can find any fault with the call. He may not have scored there, but of course you're going to give it to him.
The offense is not leaving the field. They're going to stay out and go for it on 4th and 3. Needing the tough yards, they run it with their fullback. And he will take it in for a Dolphins touchdown. It's the fullback with his 28th touchdown, drawing level with Sean Alexander for the 2nd most in a single year. And the Dolphins use the short field to their advantage as they cash in for 6. So another score there, and often you talk about the 3 phases of the game. Defense, offense, special teams. It's been a clean sweep in this one, hasn't it?
It certainly has. They've been pretty dominant throughout this game. And privately, the head coach will add a 4th phase. That's the coaching. And he'll tell the ownership that as he tries to negotiate a new contract off of this win.
They are looking strong here in the 4th quarter. Extra point up and good by Sanders. And the lead will swell by 1 more. And he'll just take a seat, and the drive will begin at the 25-yard line. And the Browns getting set to go. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And, okay, all right, I'm being facetious here, but you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
Yeah, this will be a gain of 5 as he gets it to the 30. Ball on the 30. They'll come up with a 2nd and 5. Here's Mayfield. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
We've seen this quite a few times in this game. Offensive line unable to keep leverage, unable to keep people away, facing a lot of pressure. Fortunate just to get rid of it.
One of the reasons they're down is that inability, though, to stop the pressure. We saw another example of it there. Here's Bradley Pinion now as he's on to punt for Cleveland. This is fielded at the 27. Good blocking there. Nearly sprung him. As it is, it'll go as a 19-yard return. And possession will switch hands. 1st and 10. Miami's offense set and ready to go. And they just continue to roll right along, really. This has the looks of yet another victory as they hope to polish it off here in quarter number 4. Good starting field position for the Dolphins as they have it 1st and 10 at their own 46. They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And he's going to take this across the 50 into Browns territory. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3. And this will probably be the final play before the 2-minute warning. They stay on the ground. This time it's Williams. And this time he's able to take it down to the 42. And we are inside of 2 minutes left in this lopsided affair. So the Dolphins have it as we welcome you back in. Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. Now Williams. Williams is going to have the first down and a little more. And he'll finally be taken down at the 18. I have a pretty good friend, Charles Davis, who tells me that when he sees plays like that, strong runs to the right, reminds him of the 1960s Green Bay Packers.
Boy, those were the days back when the fullback actually carried the ball as well as blocked. Then you had a halfback. You had pulling guards, guys who could get out and run. And you can hear the great coach saying it back then. So we get a seal here and a seal here, and we run this play right in the alley.
So from inside the 20, here's 1st and 10 at the 18.
4 down. Mike, 8.
A give to the fullback on the dive. And they'll work this down to the 15 for a pickup of 4.
A good solid game there on 1st down, but the defense has to be happy they didn't let it pop for anything bigger.
On 2nd down now, Singleton. And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9. It's a 6-yard run, leaves him with about a foot or so here still to go to hit the marker with 3rd down coming up.
Frustrating for a defense, energizing for an offense. Finding a way to create that type of yardage in your running game, that'll make the guys carrying the ball very, very happy.
Now a handoff here to his running back. And he's got the first down as he gets it to the 8. And the clock will now stop as a timeout is called with 5 seconds left. Oh, now look at this. They're lining up to add 3 more, little insult to injury here late in the game. From the right hash, and this one just a chipping. And this one is right through. And they're sitting pretty now as the lead grows even further. Well, he was a spectator for much of this game. This is his first field goal opportunity of the entire contest, but he's able to connect.
Yeah, he had a pretty good seat to this one, didn't he? But let's face it, all kickers that you and I know, they want to contribute. They want their opportunity, and he seized his.
So a victory here for the Miami Dolphins. And I tell you what, Charles, this might be about as good as it gets. They were incredible.
Yeah, offense was in fine form. The defense threw the shutout at them. I think they worked in concert together. What I like about the offense was they held the ball pretty well. You know, time of possession, exactly what they were looking for in this one, and that helped out their defense. Didn't have to be out there the entire time. So when you do that and you're out there fresh playing, off a little extra spring in your step, and it showed up in this one.
They had a ton of spring in their step. Impressive victory. So for Miami, they finish off a perfect regular season, 17-0. And now they'll have the week off as they get set to go after a Super Bowl title. Meanwhile, for Cleveland, they lose a tough one here to close out the regular season as they finish at 12-5. And they'll get their shot at playoff football as they'll be on the road next week as a wild card. So for Charles Davis and our entire crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Next game, guess what? Charles and I will be here again. It's the NFL on EA Sports.